Good afternoon. I've been trying to make this video for about an hour because I couldn't remember how to work my new microphone and I couldn't get it to light up, and I thought to myself, it needs charging already. I wonder if I left it switched on when I put it away. Anyway, you don't need to know all that. Suffice it to say, I've got it working now. So I think I've got it working. I've got a green light. In my book that means go, so let's hope the sound is all right. I just thought bob on, do a quick update. The 20th of July today, Monday, and it's probably, well, it's quite warm actually today, but this last week, the weekend just gone, yesterday and Saturday, it has been beautiful. It has been so cool and sunny, but some cloud cover. Um, Now, this morning we had no cloud cover whatsoever. It was just one long blue sky. I'll go up there and show you now. It isn't anymore. There is some cloud cover. So consequently this morning it was very warm in the sun, very warm. But now, thank goodness, we've got some cloud cover and it's a lot more bearable. Just let me, sorry, I've got the fan going. That might distract the sound. So let me turn it off temporarily there. Oh, that's better. That's better. Yeah, sorry about that. That must have been very annoying. It's a good job there's only me watches these, isn't it? So I have got a little bit of stuff done in the garden, but quite honestly, it's been too hot for doing major jobs. We've had to either do it first thing in the morning before it got too warm, or in the late afternoon if I'm in the vegetable garden because that's in shade, or we just haven't done it, basically. Because this garden faces south, as I've said before, so we don't get a lot of shade till evening, and by the time it gets to evening, I CBA by then. Can't be asked. So I don't do things in it. I've got most energy, as you know, I'm a lady of a certain age. My energy levels are terrible, and my most energy I have is in the morning. Once it gets to lunchtime and I've eaten my lunch, that's me done. I'm flag after that. I like to get all my jobs done in the morning, and then I spend the afternoon and evening chilling out. There's a little white cabbage white butterfly over there. I don't think I'll be able to zoom in on it. No. Oh, it's just there. Can you see? Just flying away. There you go. So I thought there's a little bit I have done. I'll show you. Um, my husband's not been off work much in the last few days. He had Saturday off. No, he didn't. He had yesterday off. Sunday. Next Saturday is off. And that was the only day off he had. So, obviously not going to do a great deal, are you, when you've got one day off? And I wouldn't expect him to. It would be very, very unkind of me. So we just chilled yesterday and didn't do a great deal, to be quite honest. And if he's chilling, I'm chilling usually. I'm saying that he did more than I did yesterday. We got a new car seat for our little grandson because he's nearly 1. Can you believe? Well, he's 11 months on the 1st of August, so he'll be 1 on the 1st of September. That is unbelievable how quickly that's gone. Really, really unbelievable. He's standing up, pulling himself up and standing. It's just, wow. And my daughter's back at work at the beginning of August. So that's going to be interesting. I'll have even less time to do vlogs because I shall be doing some granny duties for 2 days a week, which I'm really looking forward to on the one hand, but slightly apprehensive on the other, because till I've got used to it and got a routine, not a new routine, obviously I'm going to try and stick to his routine that he has now as much as I can. Obviously it'll deviate slightly because I'll probably take him out quite often on a morning if it's not too hot or raining. Raining, what's raining? I do remember that vaguely. I'll get used to it. I know I'll get used to it and more confident. And once I've done it for a couple of weeks, I'll feel more confident, and then I'll be okay about it. It's just like anything, isn't it? That's new. Am I going to be able to manage him? Is he going to be settled? Is he going to be upset because mummy's not around or for a couple of days? But babies are quite adaptable, aren't they? In my experience, and they do soon get used to the way things are. So, oh yeah, I know where I am. He's been here many, many times. He's slept here many times. So it's not as if he's in an unfamiliar environment. For example, if he was taken to a childminder's or a nursery, that would be different. But no, he's coming here, and Some days Andrew will be around to help, and other days he won't, but I'm sure I'll manage. But what was I going to say? Oh, yes, rain. Rain. We haven't had any significant rain here for at least 6 weeks, could be a bit longer than that. It's been so dry. I mean, even on days when it's cooler, there's no rain. You get clouds, even black ones. I mean, there's some quite grey ones up there, look. Might not look grey on the screen, but they are very grey. But they're not going to do anything. There's no rain forecast until at least the beginning of August. And even then, I don't think it's going to be particularly heavy. So, of course, you know what's going to happen, don't you? That's why I'm saying it on here, because I've got documentary evidence to prove it when I'm right. Might not be right. I don't want to be right, really, but I think it's going to be a repeat of last year. And it doesn't seem 2 minutes ago, does it, since I was doing videos moaning about the amount of rain. When is it going to stop raining? It's rained every day for fact since November, and we're sick of it. And now I'm sitting here going, when is it going to rain? We've had no rain for like 2 months, and I'm sick of it. I'm just like a broken record. So, yeah, I mean, 2 years ago, I've been looking back in my old diaries, and 2 years ago, it was a particularly wet summer, if you remember. I did a few vlogs where nothing seemed to be ripening in the vegetable garden or the tomatoes and the flowers. Everything was behind. There were no bees, there were no butterflies. And this year couldn't have been more different. Well, last year was a lot different as well. But this year, we have had so many bees, butterflies, various flying things, insects, what have you, everywhere. Everything's ahead of itself. Well, we'll go out and have a look in a minute. I've got Japanese anemones that are in bud that shouldn't. Oh, let me get up. Shouldn't flower until September. I've got a Rudbeckia that's almost in flower. My phlox, you can see that out there. That was the one my sister gave me. There you go, Karen. That's a lovely one you gave me. A cutting of the one that was my mum and dad's. So that's been beautiful. Phlox shouldn't really be out just yet. Having said that, the dahlias aren't out yet. I've got buds on, but they're not in flower. Tomatoes are covered in fruit, but they're not ripening yet. And again, I read somewhere, don't know if anyone else has heard this, if the weather is particularly hot, which it has been, the tomatoes go into some kind of preservative mode and they don't ripen because they know that the heat will make them ripen and go over and end up, spoilt basically too quickly. So they don't ripen. They hang on to their greenness until it cools down a bit and then they start to ripen. And funnily enough, it has cooled down in the last few days and there are a few more now that are colouring up. So let's go outside. I've done a little bit of work in the vegetable garden because the broad beans had finished. So that was a hard job the other day. I dug all those up because it was still warm when I did it. So that middle bed now looks, oh, excuse me, looks quite empty. Well, it is empty. Well, it isn't empty, but it looks empty, doesn't it? Because I cut back, well, I didn't cut back, I harvested all the remaining rhubarb because they say you shouldn't harvest rhubarb after the end of July. So I harvested all that. There's a little sprout coming, look. So that will now be left to do its thing until next year. And here where the broad beans were, pulled them all up, harvested them. We've had loads. We were trying to work out how many, and we've still got a bag full in the fridge. I reckon when we've finished, we'll have had at least 8, maybe 9 meals from them. And there weren't that many of them, but there's only the 2 of us. Having said there were only the 2 of us, we've also given my daughter quite a few as well. So now in here, I've sown some autumn carrots, Autumn King. Now this last row in here is Autumn King. I think they're a little bit oversown, if you can do that. There's perhaps a bit too many in there, I don't know. So I've spread these out a bit more, made them more further apart, shall we say. So I've just done 4 rows, which is more than enough. I'm hoping some of them I'll be able to have for my Christmas dinner. This bed is looking very lush. Most of the things in here are root vegetables. So I don't know if they're doing any good or not. They look great. I mean, the carrots look fab. But what's going on underneath, I've no idea. I might pull them up and find there's nothing there. This in the middle is sweet potatoes, which I've never grown and I haven't a clue what I'm doing, but they're growing up, they're a vine and they're growing up the stakes. They look very healthy, but I don't know if I'll get anything from them. Then this row here is leeks, a couple of leeks, and sprouts. Again, the leaves have been eaten by something, but I don't mind that. You don't eat the leaves, do you? But they seem a bit behind to me, where they should be. I've grown them before. Thought I knew what I was doing, but these are parsnips, which I'm thrilled with. I've thinned them out, but again, I've no idea how they're doing, because if you look at the bottom here, there's no sign of any roots yet, so I don't know if they've done any good or not, but hey ho. And then we've got another row of leeks, and then here is my beetroot that I think I might have shown on the last vlog I did when I'd sowed it, but it's coming through now, and I've thinned them out, chopped off the little seedlings that are no good. Something flying around there. So yeah, so we'll see. All the bees. Sometimes when it's very warm, I sit out here next to this lavender, and there's always some bees on it. Always. And I mean, it's going over a little bit now. I don't know what they find to go on harvest wise. They must have been on every single flower stem. Anyway, so that's my lavender. And then down here we have my herb bed, and that's doing really well, as you can see. Some flowers. I can't get. Let me see if I can get past here. These sticks. In case you think, what should I put sticks across there for? Because I have, as you know, cats, and it's to stop the pussycats from digging up my seeds. Once they come through, I shall get rid of the sticks. So there. Oh, flower. There. Look at that. We have one of Reuben's sunflowers. Watering again. I only watered them this morning. I keep up with it. But that basil's looking lovely. It's all looking quite good. We've harvested quite a bit of parsley and we've done basil and sage and mint. I haven't harvested tarragon because I don't really know what to do with it, if I'm being honest. I think it's good on fish. So I just have to go sideways past these sticks. Oh, there we go. Potatoes. We have harvested 2 pots now. They're all looking a little bit yellowy. These are all ready for harvesting. These are the worst because these are the oldest. So we'll be doing some more. We'll give my daughter some of those as well with that many. We've decided this is some kind of self-seeded tree, and it's going to be coming out in autumn because it's taking over my Deutzia, which is always beautiful, and it did flower this summer, but it wasn't as good. So yeah, Andrew and I are going to be cutting that down and sawing through the very large trunk that's developed, and then I can hopefully keep it down size wise like I do with the Sambucus. Just given that another prune not long since, because it was starting to not flower, but it potentially could have flowered. So yeah, that's had a little prune. So there's more room for my lilac. What else? I've no flowers on my cosmos. Never grown them before. I'm not sure what I'm doing, to be quite honest, but they're not flowering. If anybody has any advice? It's all looking really nice. Been really pleased. The rose has been fabulous. Thomas à Becket, who's brand new, has been amazing. He's got more buds on as well. The flowers, aren't they gorgeous? Look at them, beautiful, and they smell divine. That's my new heuchera, which went in the pot that Frank was in. I think did it. That's my Jessie Rose. She's not got any more buds on yet. This has been fabulous. It's going over now. The taller ones are going over. Foxglove. Sorry about the talking in the background. So box. Oh, this is the rhubarb that I've pulled. I'm just letting it ripen on the table. I'm going to offer it to my daughter at the weekend if she wants some. If she doesn't, I'll cook it and make a crumble. See, my dahlias are starting to get that leaf off. Bend it right down. It's better. Now you'll be able to see it. Recognise that voice? I might not. And this is the other sunflower that, look at it, it needs a water. Desperately needs a water. About to open. Another cosmos hasn't got any flowers on. There's a bud on there. Look at my tomatoes. Hundreds of them, look. You can see the orange one in the middle. And there's one on there which looks exactly the same colour, which is confusing me. Because this first one is supposed to be yellow. That's, to me, that's orange. This one's supposed to be orange, which it does look to be orange. And this one's supposed to be red. Go figure. So I staked them up, took a lot of the leaves off to help the sun get to them the other day. And this, my blueberry, I've had 2 lots of blueberries off here. There's one there that's just ripening there, look. A few more to come. Yeah, I've had 2 lots of blueberries off there on my porridge, which was fabulous. Yeah, they could see what I mean about the sunflower, how it's wilting. Looks, it needs water. So that's going to need something fairly soon. Penstemmon's going over now, but that's been stunning. A quick walk about. My washing lines are up because I'll be washing tomorrow. It wasn't worth taking them down when there was no rain forecast. This Barnsley baby's been beautiful. But it's pinker than it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be white with a tiny hint of pink. Whereas I would say that that's more pink with a tiny hint of white, but there you are. And this has been nice. This needs water. Isn't it nice, that? It is, now then, it is called, I don't know how you pronounce it, Echinacea, maybe? Look, the bee likes that. You like that, don't you? Little thistles. It's an eryngium. Self-seeded buddleia going over. This pot's not looking as good as it was, but it was fabulous when it was at its best. You've seen how my Clematis armandii grown? Look at that. So I need to, it's going over the top now, I need to train it along the side a little bit. This border, this isn't as nice because I've trimmed a lot of things back. Look at the buds. Oh, look at the butterfly. Look. See what I mean? It's a plethora of nature and wildlife. I haven't seen or heard the hedgehogs though this year, but I'm sure we've got them. We saw a red kite as well flying over the garden the other day. So look, the buds on the Japanese anemone, which it shouldn't be flowering yet. It's a bit early. And even the Rudbeckia is coming out, and that shouldn't be out yet neither. Now this, my husband trimmed this. This is the broom. Cistus. I mean, it was huge, and it was really, really straggly and messy, and before long would have been annoying my neighbours, I think. So yeah, so he pruned it, tidied it into a nice little neat ball, so I'm very pleased with that. Some sunflowers here, but I don't know if they'll flower, and they look like they need watering. My heuchera has gone a bit brown in the heat. Another phlox. And a salvia. Yeah, it looks like it all needs a water on here tonight. That's a new lavender. And some verbena. A hollyhock, just about finished. Beautiful. And this has come again, this potentilla. I've just seen this growing up. Verbena. Oh no, it's not verbena. That's fine. It's a geum. I thought, looking at the stalk of it, look, I thought it was verbena. But there's a bit of the geum that just needs deadheading. Sun's come out again, it's warm. Oh, look at the verbenas though, they're beautiful. Gorgeous, aren't they? Oh gosh, it is warm. Better go and get out of the sun. So that's about everything, really. Oh, I think I found a weed. Oh, see if I can reach this weed. That's a weed, isn't it? Is it some sort of a daisy? Oh, I've broken it off, but never mind. Yeah, it's a weed as well. There's a lot of weeds. I tell you where else I need to weed. I need to weed in the herbs. Quite a few weeds in there. Things growing in there that shouldn't be. I need to get in there once we cool down a little bit. You see what I mean though, this time of day. I mean, I'm saying what this time of day and I don't know what time of day it is. It's about 2:30. There's no sun. There's no shade at all anywhere. Even this is in full sun now. There's no shade at all. So I'm going back inside and I'm going to put my fan back on. I mean, eventually I'm not going to have... Oh, that's better. I'm not going to have any shade in here. Eventually I'll have to move. Luckily, by the time the sun comes in here, there's some shade out there. And I can go sit on the sofa and read my book. What time is it? 2:15. It's a bit slow, I think, apparently, is that clock. So that's everything, really. Nothing much to report, because I say it's been too hot. And look at them lovely grey clouds. Normally you'd think, oh, they're going to rain. But we know they're not. It's so... I know for some people it's, oh, they love it. If you're not a gardener, if you live in a flat or you just got a little yard with a couple of pots in it or something, or no flowers at all, and you like summer, you know, you're going to lap this up. Oh, this is fabulous having to stay like this all the time. But for gardeners, it's hard work trying to keep up to it all. It really is. And as I say, and I don't do heat anyway, I get very grumpy, I think. And just because I document this, I'm documenting it for my own personal use. I use it as like a diary, mainly a gardening diary, but I like to throw in a few world events as well. We've just had the World Cup and we got to the semi-final, which was very good. We got beaten by Argentina, boo hiss. But I was very pleased. I didn't watch it because, you know, we don't do football. I didn't watch any of it. But I was very pleased to hear that Argentina were beaten in the final yesterday by Spain. And were very bad losers, apparently. Attacked the Spanish players. There you go. That's not cricket, is it? Not football neither. And on a political note, today we have a new Prime Minister in the UK, Andy Burnham, who has not been elected by anybody apart from 14,000 people who live in Makerfield in Manchester, who voted him in as a MP. No one else in the country's had a say over it. And he seems a nice chap. He seems much more personable than Starmer. He seems more human than Starmer. But if you actually dig deep and look into what he stands for, what he believes in, he is even more left-wing than Starmer, bordering on communist, I would say. In his speech outside Downing Street this morning, well, it was just after lunch, he talked about a new Britain and helping people with the cost of living and devolving power from Westminster out into the provinces and a better fiscal plan. Didn't say what any of these plans were. Build more council houses, even though we haven't got the infrastructure in place to build them. We haven't got the land to build them on, unless he starts using green belts. and things like water supply and gas supply. And we haven't got any of that. We're struggling to supply water and gas and electricity to the homes we've got. So there's no forward thinking in this at all, really. And not once did he mention prices of energy. There were rumours that he was going to open up some oil fields. I doubt that. Oh, he talked about industrialising places again, but again, no plan in place. And not once did he mention immigration and stopping immigrants coming over in boats. Didn't mention cutting the welfare bill. None of that. Just getting young people back to work by supplying them with mental health advice in schools. Right, okay. So all flim flam and no actual structure to it. So we just have to wait and see, and obviously hope to be wrong and hope he is better. I hope he does do some good things. All of us that don't like them, I hope he'll call a rash general election, because he'll have a little bit of a bounce now. There's always a bounce in the polls when you get a new Prime Minister, and Labour will go up the polls, and Reform have got their own issues at the moment, which I won't go into here, but so he might consider that. I don't think he will, personally. Apparently he's got a 10-year plan. Yeah, right. Hope to goodness they're not in for 10 years. I really do. Anyway, I've waffled on for nearly half an hour. And it takes forever to upload things to YouTube these days. So watch this space, and we'll see. And I know nobody really much watches this, and those that do probably look at the gardening content. But because I'm doing it for my own record more than anything, I will mention politics occasionally when it's called for, just so I know myself when things happened. And is that when we had that? Oh, is that when he came in? Oh, right, okay. Yeah, Reformer. I'm not going to say, I'm not going into detail, but Nigel Farage, who's the leader of Reform, he has been, it gets vilified by the press. The whole of Reform do. They're terrified. That's why. Both the Tories and Labour are terrified of Reform, because they're doing so well in the polls and they've got the public behind them. And they're accusing him of all sorts of things. So he's decided to put his money where his mouth is, I suppose. And he stood down as an MP and called a by-election, and he's going to restand. And he's going to let the people in his constituency decide whether they think he's any good as an MP, and if they're pleased with what he's done so far, if they're voting back in. So that was the first thing we've been worried about. It was 13th of August. That's when they're having the by-election. And then, of course, the dreadful, dreadful murder of Anne Widdecombe in her home, which has gone very, very quiet in the mainstream media. They reckon they've got someone who's been arrested but not charged, is even being named, which I was amazed that they would name somebody when they've not charged him. I didn't think they'd be allowed to do that. But anyway, it all stinks somehow of some sort of setup, or I don't know, but it's almost as if they're just not going to mention it again now. That's it. Yes, we've arrested someone, and he's never going to be charged, he's never going to go to court, it's just going to be swept under the carpet. I don't know. I don't think they'll get away with that, because I don't think Nigel Farage will allow it. And I'm sure her family won't allow it. But something is rotten in the state of Denmark, to quote Shakespeare. So we'll see what happens. And I will mention it next time I do a vlog. Keep it up to date and current. So I'm now going to, I think I might go for a wee actually. Go for a wee. And the sun's gone in now, so it's feeling a little bit better in here. I'll put my fan back on. And I'll speak to you all again very soon. Bye.